Imagine this. You're 19 years old. You've been in Vietnam for 6 weeks. Back home, 6 weeks ago, you were sleeping in until noon and arguing with your mom about doing the dishes. Now, you're sitting in the open door of a UH-1 Huey helicopter, legs dangling over nothing, an M60 machine gun between your knees, watching the Vietnamese jungle scroll beneath you like a green carpet, hiding everything that wants to kill you. This is your 34th mission. You know that because you've been scratching tally marks into the inside of your helmet liner. Some guys scratch them into their rifles, some into their flak jackets. You picked your helmet because you figure if you make it to 100, you want the marks close to your face. Proof you survived. Proof you were here. Then all at once, the air around you turns into a wall of lead. Tracer rounds slicing through the sky like angry red needles. Your M60 is screaming. The helicopter is bucking and shaking. Marines are sprinting across open ground below you. Someone on the radio is screaming words you can't make out over the rotor noise. And then you see it. A flash from the tree line. A trail of smoke cutting through the air impossibly fast, impossibly straight, aimed directly at you. Then nothing. Oh, hey there. Before we talk about what just happened to your helicopter, and more importantly, to you, let's talk about the history of the door gunners in the Vietnam War. So how did we end up with teenagers hanging out of helicopters over Vietnamese jungles with machine guns? Nobody planned it that way. It evolved, the way most terrible ideas in war evolve, out of pure, desperate necessity. Early helicopter crews in Vietnam were getting shot to pieces on resupply runs with no way to shoot back. So someone mounted weapons on them. Someone else put a guy in the door to operate those weapons. And just like that, the door gunner was born. The helicopter they built this role around was the UH-1 Iroquois, the Huey, the most iconic image of the entire Vietnam War. That distinctive wop, wop, wop sound comes from the two-blade rotor system cutting through air asymmetrically. You could hear a Huey coming from 3 miles away, which meant so could the enemy. Over 7,000 were deployed to Vietnam. They flew everything: troops, medevac, resupply, extractions. If something needed to happen fast, a Huey was doing it. And in the door of almost every single one was a kid with an M60. Door gunners called it the Pig. It weighed 23 pounds, fired 550 rounds per minute, overheated constantly, and jammed at the worst possible moments. You changed the barrel mid-combat, mid-flight, with one hand, while the helicopter banked and the jungle below tried to kill you. The position offered zero protection. Open door, no armor, no cover. Some guys bolted spare flak jackets to the sides. One guy famously mounted a cast iron skillet. It didn't help. But when you're that exposed, you'll try anything to feel less like a target. So why did guys volunteer? Because the alternative was being a grunt, humping 60 pounds of gear through triple canopy jungle in 100-degree heat, sleeping in the mud, walking point on trails that might be mined. Compared to that, flying felt like freedom, even if the flying was trying to kill you too. At least when it ended up there, it ended fast. That last part was more true than most of them wanted to admit. So back to you. 34th mission, Hot LZ. 12 Marines pinned down in a clearing surrounded by triple canopy jungle and every Viet Cong fighter in the province. Your pilot brings the Huey in low and fast. Speed is the only armor you have. Then suddenly the air is alive. Tracer rounds everywhere. Red lines crisscrossing the sky like the world's most lethal light show. You open up with the Pig, hammering the tree line, 550 rounds per minute. Brass raining past your face, the smell of burning metal mixing with smoke and jungle rot and jet fuel. The Marines are running. 12 guys sprinting across open ground toward you, heads down, dragging wounded. Your pilot is holding the hover. A hovering helicopter is the easiest target in the world, and he knows it, and he's doing it anyway, because that's the job. Then you see the flash from the tree line. If you can see the smoke trail of an RPG, it's already too late. You have exactly enough time to think, oh, before it connects with your tail rotor. A helicopter without a tail rotor doesn't glide. It spins, violently, uncontrollably. The entire aircraft rotating around its own axis like a falling maple seed, except the maple seed isn't on fire and doesn't have 5 people inside it. The jungle comes up fast, then impact. Let's talk about what impact actually does to a human body. Because this isn't like the movies where the helicopter goes down and the hero crawls out with a cool scratch on his forehead. A Huey in uncontrolled auto-rotation hits the ground at somewhere between 30 and 50 miles per hour inside a thin aluminum frame that is simultaneously spinning, burning, and being torn apart by its own rotor blades. The impact force is somewhere between 8 and 12 Gs. For reference, fighter pilots train for years to handle 9 Gs in a controlled environment. You're a 19-year-old kid who was eating sea rations an hour ago. Your brain slams into the inside of your skull. Traumatic brain injury, instant. Your spine compresses, vertebrae fracture, ribs snap. Then the rotor blades hit the ground, still spinning, shattering outward at several hundred miles per hour in every direction. Then the fuel tank ruptures. A Huey carries 209 gallons of jet fuel. Your flight suit provides about 3 seconds of protection at 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. 3 seconds. So what does it actually feel like? The spinning is the last clear sensation you have. Jungle and sky swapping places. Your hands still on the M60. Some part of your brain still trying to do the job, even as the job becomes irrelevant. Then, impact. And here's what nobody tells you. It doesn't hurt, not immediately. What you feel instead is a massive total wrongness, like every system in your body throwing an error at the same time. Vision goes white, then dark, then fragments back in pieces that don't connect. You're on the ground. There's noise, but it's muffled. Wrong, like hearing it through water. The rotor has stopped. For the first time in 34 missions, the rotor has stopped. And the silence where it was is the loudest thing you've ever heard. You try to move. Your left hand opens and closes. That's about it. You can't feel your legs. Not pain, just absence. There's heat, getting closer. You understand what that means, but the understanding is detached, academic, like reading about something happening to someone else. Your brain doesn't have the resources left to generate fear. You're looking up through a hole in the canopy at a piece of Vietnamese sky. It's blue. Genuinely, surprisingly blue. The sounds of the jungle are coming back. Birds. Always the birds. You remember thinking on your first mission how strange it was that birds just kept singing while everything below them was chaos. You're thinking about it now. Your vision narrows. Not dramatically like in films, just getting smaller. The blue piece of sky getting further away even though you're not moving. You don't feel the fire reach you. You're already somewhere quieter than that. So let's talk numbers, because this wasn't rare. This wasn't unlucky. This was Tuesday. Over 12,000 Hueys served in Vietnam. Nearly 5,000 were shot down or destroyed. That's almost half the fleet. 2,202 helicopter pilots and crew were killed in action. Thousands more were wounded, captured, or missing. The average age of a doorgunner was 19 years old. 19. The same age you are now if you're a college freshman arguing about meal plan options. Doorgunners had the lowest life expectancy of any non-commissioned role in the entire war. On a hot LZ under sustained fire, that life expectancy dropped to under 30 seconds. 30 seconds. And here's the part that should sit with you. These guys knew. They weren't naive. They could do the math. They watched friends go down on Mission 12, Mission 20, Mission 41. They kept scratching tally marks anyway. They kept climbing back into that open door anyway. Some because they believed in the mission. Some because they couldn't leave their crew. Most because once you've done it, once you've felt that Huey lift off the ground and watched the jungle fall away beneath you, you can't imagine doing anything else. You made it to 34. Some guys didn't make it to 5. There's no formula for which mission kills you. No pattern to spot, no warning to heed. The guy who shot you down wasn't special. The RPG that hit your tail rotor wasn't particularly well aimed. It was just the math finally catching up. 34 times you flew into places that wanted to kill you, and 34 times you flew out. The 35th tally mark never got scratched.